I'm a big fan of a lot of there was that kind of era of rock where there's like you think of like Rage Against the Machine or Audio Slave that have that sort of bluesy hard rock sound, and that kind of slide that thing was I tend to like default to that a lot on the guitar, that sort of sound.
It was a good riff.
And then
it is a good riff.
Which is just a super basic sliding riff, and then those tremolo picks. I have no idea like why I started doing that, but those sound together just sounded huge. Mm-hmm. And I put that down, and then I didn't think a whole lot of it. Keith's the one that made a bigger deal out of it later.
Yeah, Keith was he was really big on that riff. He was like, he would not let that thing go.
And we managed to do that. And at first we were going to make that a chorus, and that was just impossible. It wasn't really a good chorus riff.
It felt like it was like when we first started. It felt like that's the chorus, right?
Yeah.
But like, it just no attempts that we made to make that a chorus. Just gelled at all.
Yeah, we struggled. We struggled a lot to add to that song. So we did. The verse came together pretty simply. Like it's a pretty straightforward verse. And Matt came up with that lead that we liked so much.
Yeah.
But then we kept going back, trying to make that. We tried to like fit that as a chorus, and we couldn't do it.
And then on top of that, like, I mean, there were so many attempts at that chorus in general. Like, we'd come back, the next week, and we'd be like, "Hey, what about this for the chorus?" And we'd play it, and it was just like, no, I don't think so. And then the next week, we'd come back with a completely different riff and go, no, not that either. And like that song got shelved.
Oh yeah,
for like a while.
It's probably I bet that's it probably set for a year, and we would come back to it periodically, and then we finally one day started messing around, and I think it might have been Keith that came up with like a chord progression, and we just kept working with that and just playing it over and over. And
I'm pretty sure that was even after Matt wasn't even in the group anymore when we finally played the song. It was after Matt left, and it was after our long hiatus too, right?
We actually came back to finish it, and I just like the contrast. That chorus sounds really like the verse and the intro and all that sound kind of like a little darker, and then the chorus is kind of an uplifter.
It is.
And so I really like that contrast between those two kind of modes of the song, and they still gel really well together.
Yeah, I agree.
This is another song that we started with a title.
Yeah. And it was funny because like that was only ever meant to be like the working title, because I didn't have a better title for the song, lyrically. And Keith was just like, well, let's just call it Mr. Negative, and like, all right, cool, that's fine for now, and I'll come up with something later. And I just never did. And like, well, it wasn't just that. It wasn't like I settled on it. Like after a while, it just sort of like became the name of the song, and it actually was really, really meaningful. And I was really psyched that the song came together the way that it did, because I feel like we all felt like that song was going to be a good one. But it was just such a difficult write, like it didn't just come together.
Yeah, but I will say, once we wrote that chorus, like we wrote the bridge.
Oh yeah.
I think the bridge was like the first take, like just on the spot.
I think so, man. It turned out exactly the way it should have.
I'm very happy with the finished product for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and that's last thing I'm gonna say about it. I probably am dragging this out forever, but Keith actually like came in at the end and added that like djenty riff, and like, oh man, he just kind of came up with that out of nowhere, and I've got to tip my hat to him, man, because like now that like, I mean, every other part of that song, like I said, as it was written, it felt like it was supposed to be that way. and the ending is no exception. Like as soon as it hits that genty outro riff, I can't imagine the song without it now. So it really, between all of us, it just it's a perfect mesh of like all of us diving in and getting a song done. Like that's the perfect example of everyone just pouring everything that they have into a song and just getting this big melting pot of feeling and emotion. It was a wonderful experience for that one to finally get finished.